Hello again, everybody. Sebastian here with the Season 8 GvG tutorial that usually we plan to do every season. So finally, it's going to be out just as the season is about to get started. And because I didn't want to do this alone, I decided to ask my guild leader, Destin from the Rising Horn, to come and join me to talk about the new maps this season.
I could never get used to people calling me guild leader.
I know, that's what we say it.
It's so unexpected, and I don't even do anything. But thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I know. New season, everything, new kings to work out. You try to adjust to, new demon soldiers coming in, and with the maps, you're trying to find that meta composition or just a stubborn composition, right, to get you to, to try to get you some wins. So the opponent wastes some attacks on you. But this season, I can tell you from my experience in Forerunner so far, is just a nightmare in trying to come up with a good tower composition that, lasts for weeks and does not get broken too easily. So we are going to get started with a couple of things. Just as a reminder to people that we only have 5 attacks now per round. So it's 10 per week. So definitely it's going to have to be a lot of deciphering beforehand before you go and plan out how you're going to do your attacks, especially from a guild perspective, right? Because you don't have as many chances to take anymore. But that's one of the key. And then the other one that I was showing testing here is the new demon soldier that is going to pop in. And just as a reminder is we're already getting sightings of him in Forerunners. So here is the Chaotic Shaman, and especially his thing is going to be that he's going to grant increased attack, enhanced basic attack to any ground units around him. And if they have that mark, Marco Cass? Yeah, Marco Cass, they will be further enhanced by this. So essentially is trying to buff up these Infernal Clerics that we have going right now. So these guys here will get even more oomph from their basic attack if you decide to pair them up together. But I was showing Destin here a clip of how exactly this new demon soldier is behaving, and here I'm going to play it. So as you can see here, this, just as a preview, this is kind of the setup of a tower that we're seeing right now. Especially if if you want to play with the platforms back here, and then we have like a unit here like Magda in this case trying to prevent a swarm. But there are definitely many ways to try to get around this. But the reason that this is so popular is because of Ingrid. People are still want to make Ingrid play in these towers, and so that's why we're seeing this type of formation, right? All right,
and she's not that usable in towers anymore.
And we'll go through that when we come to that section of it. But yeah, so they're mixed results. Some people fall into traps, trying to get through, but it's easy to get around her now, much more than it was in the past. So the thing that I was telling here and showing Destin was what my guild mate did here in Forerunner is he decided to release both of these fellows alongside the Garner Guards, because the prediction here would be the targeting of the Garner Guards will either go towards Ingrid or towards Prairies. And the enhanced basic attack predictably would be to take out either one of these two. Now, he was successful. I would say he was successful in doing that because you're going to see the bubble pop on Pradius. Okay. But here is the unexpected result, something that we did not expect to see. This new demon soldier can apply the burn and also is doing attack and is doing a lot of damage to Cyrus here. And this Cyrus is well built. Unshaken will, 110k HP, 8,000 defense Cyrus. Now, he did face him the wrong way, unfortunately. That's one of his weaknesses when you face him like this. But just the fact that they had enough with at 100 and I think it was 111k Lord affiliation to them to take out a tank, that is impressive.
It's very rare to kill Cyrus. That's for sure.
So we keep playing around with him, and we're trying to do things with the Infernal Cleric here to try to see if there are ways to boost him, because he has I don't know if you remember, so he has this weird range, right? Let me play you this, because this one here is where he kind of came at Magda here, and this is this is a Mag that is in Glacier, so it's here's kind of testing this formation that we're also seeing, because one of the things that people are trying to do is they're trying to assess, can I swarm it, and if they can, they're going to come at you. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is place units like Captain Reeve and Magda or Emirate or anybody that you have CC up here to prevent that. The downside to this is, we'll discuss later too, is that people are getting cute with bombs again. So there's a lot to contend with here. Now, I don't know if you remember this Infernal Clerics, but now one of the things that I did not appreciate from them now is that if we don't cover something like this well, at this spot well.
Oof. Yeah.
Look at Magda.
They melted them.
Look
Holy.
So
that's crazy. What the heck?
This is stuff. This is why I haven't been showing too much, because there's a lot of stuff that we're toying around with these two. And now that we're going into global, and I'm talking about the Rising Horde, we're gonna get a chance to start playing around with these two when they come and they're actually start showing up. There is some weird stuff that is gonna go on, regardless of the defenses that we're going to see with them together. So it's going to be really interesting. All right. So
yeah, I didn't think they would be that strong.
They are. I mean, that broker was really packed too. So I was like, what is going on here? Is there some bug in Forerunners that we don't know about? But no, it's playing out. It's really weird as to what really is going on here right now. So, but just a preview. That's a preview. Once we start seeing things with these clerics playing out, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun playing around with them. All right, Destin, let's get into the maps a little quick. So one of the things I wanted to tell people is in my Discord, what I had decided to do right as the season kicked out in season 8, and this is something that I shared with the Rising Horde, so they started kind of playing around with it. So just this is a key for you, all of you that were waiting for a video from us to come out. I release stuff early and posted in Discord, and the Rising Hordes Discord, just so you get a sense of how things are behaving. But just to get you an idea here is the tower map. This tile up here, or this platform tile up here, that's a no-no. We completely ignore it, because no matter what, archers are going to target it. They're going to take it out. And so as you can see here,
what would you even put there?
Well, people try putting healers there, and we just would snap him out. So so everything has to be on this side here. And of course, anytime you congregate stuff, you're gonna get bombs, so you have to counter for that as well. So that's exactly how it goes. And as I showed you here with the preview with the clip, if we place the tank here and you start placing units back here, you're pretty much, if you're not building in tanky, or you're gonna deal with a Garner Guard that is boosted, or you have very tough bookkeepers, these two tiles are going to eventually be out. Same thing with these two here. These are Garner Guard targets as well. So keep that in mind when you're forming your defenses. You have to prepare for that, okay? The other thing also is mass splash damage will carry over to this tile. So if you don't have enough protection here, that splash damage...
it's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone.
So protect yourself against that. So here, I'm going to keep going here. If you decide to put the tank here, you're going to put a lot of stress on these platforms over here. It's going to be really tough to do that way. You're probably going to do a lineup with 3, I imagine, if you're going to form a defense that goes here. We'll talk about that, because we are seeing a lot of nightmare compositions still being...
I was about to say, like, Hatchet would fit decent up there.
Exactly. Going all the way back here, this is where you start running into restrictions. If you're gonna, toy around with trying to put some type of fighter unit back here, you can try doing that if you want. Just be careful with those gunner guards coming and targeting. at least from what we noticed, the targeting here goes 1, 2. So maybe you can get away with if you have something here that is tanky, and then the Garnet Guards are just focused there. But this formation here, nobody's playing it. We haven't seen anything weird.
Yeah, it doesn't look good to me. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then the only other thing, when we placing a tank here, the Garnet Guard can still reach here. So be careful with that. Make sure that it's a little bit more, that they are protected. So they do have a good opportunity, right? If they even get close here to get a couple of shots off, unless there's some type of CC that you can put it under that will just disrupt that targeting. So that's what we're seeing. That's what we're trying to protect ourselves against as well, just to make sure that if we place anything here, that they are not Garnet Guard food. And then, of course, if your inclination is to put a healer back here, archers are going to take it out. You're just giving everybody a freebie. So don't try to avoid that if possible. And then the last setup here, which is another one that we're seeing commonly, is this one here. Now, what I was telling my from the guildmates is just don't place anything here. It's really easy for the Garnet Guards to target this. So I called it a dead tile. I know people are going to try to make it work, and if it does, you know, good luck to you, or congratulations for figuring that out. But essentially, if we place the tank back here, I was just telling people go back 1 and then place everything else back here, or use these ground tiles here. So that's essentially that setup there. Just gonna give you a preview here in that, and then once we start putting.
I'm gonna actually. You've inspired me with this. I'm gonna make something, and
Okay.
I'll and then you could show it a bit later.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and then let me then go to the keep. The keep here is really complicated this season. A lot of people are trying to place things up front, which is fine. They're trying to use these 2 platform units here. We're seeing, at least in Forerunners, I can tell you, we're seeing a lot of stuff with Lady Alexandra. So that is, I don't know if that's going to become something to look out for. But the thing is, when people start, and we'll get back to this later if you want to, when you start forming a piercer unit and you try to put like an Iobar and a Lady A here, one of the things we found is sometimes you open yourself up to swarms a little bit more frequently because you don't have as much protection back down here. But that's something that we commonly see. And then based on the targeting of the Garnet Guards, we are seeing them go here 1, 2. Bookkeepers just stake this out really easy. Placing the tank back here, you can try that if you want to put your healer back here.
No, it doesn't look worth it to me.
If you want to. But there are also some hidden platform units down here, and there's one right behind my head too. I should go this way here. So this is also playable here. But the thing is that as we start moving the tank, then these platforms start becoming open to some of the more common demon soldiers that we have. And if we start placing the tank all the way down here, it really doesn't help the formation at all. All right, it just opens things up. I mean, people, we saw an opponent try to put like a fighter here with a tank here and marksman here with the healer here, but then it was just too easy to pick apart. It just did not work. So this here, you can try it, but I'm just not advising people to even consider it.
Yeah.
And let me, then we have these here. So this here is useless. I mean, theoretically, you can put it together, but there's no place to put anything else if you decide to put the tank here. So it's possible if you can figure something out. Good luck to you. And then
you could put you could put Ingrid at the top facing down, right?
But it would have to be this situation here. And we'll go to that because this is the common formation that we're seeing. The only thing that we're warning people here is that if you place the tank here, everything else here is dead. So try not to use it if at all possible, because of how the targeting is behaving. Okay, so even this back one right here, we were able to pick it off with archers. So just avoid it. And then I think that was it. And then the only other weird situation that we encountered that I had to revise it for it is that we saw formations where people were trying to put 3 in a row up here. But one of the things that we found out is any fighter that you place back here can be picked up by archers. So essentially what we're doing is that we're calling this ground tile, we're calling it a dead tile, because you're just giving the opponent a freebie.
I take credit for that because I think I said that a while ago.
So that's essentially what is happening there with the season 8 keep. So this stuff here has been published for 3 weeks now, and so it's something that I shared with the peeps, and we have been able to start tier crafting from there. Now let me start with you, because you wanted to show these keep defenses just to people, because this is exactly what I'm seeing in Forerunners. And so this is, I think, a great starting point. Back here of the tower, let's talk about putting formations together. So Destin, go ahead and kind of go over the theory crafting here. How do we think that Ingrid will do in this position?
Well, I've kind of always had my eye on this type of Ingrid idea, purely because when she beams, it'll take up like the whole map. Because Ingrid's beam is almost infinite range, so it will hit everything. The only thing that's safe is at the very top of the map, like at the beginning, and that's like such a small area. Correct. Yeah, so that's kind of why I love having Ingrid there. But I was placing like Praetus in front of her, and that wasn't working. But placing Praetus at the top seems to work a bit better. And then I pulled Ymir recently, so I wanted to put him in, but this is not a perfect team by any means. Carnelian is there because I think this will be easy bombing. I think this will get bombed very easily, which is my biggest worry. So Carnelian instead. Malvira is there instead of Brokir because she works better with Karn than Brokir does, in my opinion. And then Ymir is there just for a little bit of CC damage and just to try to help a little bit. But I could see this getting swarmed pretty easily. I could see this potentially getting bombed depending on how Carnelian works. I could see this just straight up getting killed by axes if people have high enough BP. This does not look perfect, but all things considered, how hard it is to make a good tower team, this seems okay. And you could do like Reeve. You could probably figure out how to use like Constance or something, instead of Ymir. But I like Ymir.
Well, and then depending on your rage regeneration on Imrit here, he could probably protect you from the bombing strat, unless they somehow manage to not only get your ult baited and then time Pradius enough and then switch Ingrid, where then they can go ahead and release the bombs with the beholders and then speed them up. But that could be but by that time,
at that point, Carnelian would be up.
Exactly.
So we'll be okay.
And so
yeah,
this is why I think one of the things that Carnelian is going to be OP for this part back here, because it would take one strategy away from people. Now, one of the things that we have been doing, or we try to do, is that we usually send a sacrificial lamb to begin with and switch Ingrid over. That's the first thing we do, right? And then
she's too easy to switch.
Exactly. Sure. And then the other thing that I will warn people is that if you decide to go with this formation here, you gotta toughen up against Ma, because that is the next unit that comes in. Now, Radius might do a good enough job to try to melt them, especially a mod that is not affiliated very strongly. And Ingrid will do some damage with her Stellar mod. But those strong mods that we have in our guild have been able to sustain this. So it's one of those, yin and yangs. Is how do you want to die type of deals when it comes to trying to fit Ingrid in this formation here. So
yeah, I mean, like the people we face, there's so many like level 2 Ma's with like 120k U of Rs. Like Ma is so strong right now. When you get that to that point, that it'll probably die to Ma.
So to me, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the guild feels later, or how people feel once they start putting things together. I might not consider Ingrid back here. She might have a shot here in the middle, but not back here. It's just the way that things have been going in Forerunners is just too easy to switcher. So that's, I mean, that's just that would be my just the one warning that would have to people. Just make sure you toughen up against the Ma, just in case.
This team is not very good. I threw
Yeah,
this
no,
together on a whim.
this one will probably get swarmed. This is going to be one of those
or flown.
They're gonna, yeah, people are gonna look at it and say, "Oh, we can probably swarm it. We'll go for it." But you know, it all depends.
This is a placeholder I made a week ago. So
yeah. So, but you just wanted to show that, and that's fine because I'm gonna show my theory crafting, and that can be bad too. So, let me go here,
and then my alt has probably the best team.
Yeah. So here, this is one that I'm starting out with in terms of theory crafting, because one of the things that we know is if we have a very good build area with the Pradius, these two can do enough damage. It's just whether Broker can sustain long enough, right? My only concern here is that we are coming into a direct curve, right? It's not, there's no opening for, to try to do damage to start out with. It's just going to be direct. They're going to show up right in front of Broker. These two have to take him down quickly. That's my only concern. So we just have to make sure that he sustains, and that's why I have Carnelian back here. Carnelian also is going to help me prevent from getting bombed, because some people are going to try to get cute with that strategy. And at least from being back here, CC. We need some type of CC just to slow things down, just to redirect Garner Guards, just to do anything, just to help us sustain. Is I think what's going to take from our formation back here. So that's why I'm going to try out Beelzebub back here and see what happens.
Yeah, he's one of the better CC units for this because he actually has the range. Theowen's like the only other person I could think of, but his range is smaller, so.
And then my other one, in terms of this, I'm gonna say.
Oh, and Fenris might be good there.
If okay, we'll see. But yeah, maybe. I mean, if you want to get cheeky, you could, I guess, right? I haven't summoned him yet, but we'll see. Then the other one is
he has the range. He has the range. Yeah. That's silly.
The other thing I'm going to say right now is based on the builds, right? It's all about the builds. If you can swarm this, go ahead, right? I want to see it. I want to see how much of a Hecatic this could be. But if you have enough strong demon soldiers and you can swarm this, go ahead. And then I can try to make adjustments later on. But I just wanted to see how this will play out because I don't have Emerald in Forerunners, so I haven't been able to put this type of formation together. But
yeah, that's probably what I'm going to be doing, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the other formation here that we can think about doing. So, all right. So here, let's play around with this, and then we'll pretend that somebody here is going to be Ingrid, okay? And then we'll go from there. But let me start down here with this formation here. So like I told you, one of the things that we're seeing here is that this position here with the tank is one that is very popular. I think you're gonna find some defenses here that will play out, and then of course we're gonna have this platform here. This is the one that's going to be causing the headaches for people, depending on who you're putting here. Now, people are going to want to play Ingrid here, and then play Pradius back here. So let's say Lily is our Pradius. So this is going to be something classic, right? And one of the things that could happen though is, number one, somebody could deploy that strategy with the Garner Guards, try to clip a Pradius if you don't have Lily or somebody very good protecting him back here. So make sure you have a very good protector back here. That's one. Then the other thing is possibly switching Ingrid's mode here. So that would be the only weaknesses that I would see to an Arbiter team in trying to put this together. The other thing that I would suggest is if you decide to go something like that with an Arbiter team in that situation, make sure you have something back here. So I've seen people like to use Emerald. Some people like to use Magda, Captain Reeve, just to prevent from you getting swarmed. Because one of the things, at least with how I saw one in Forerunners, was that I saw Ingrid, Pradius, and then they put the healer back here, and then they had some other platform were playing another platform unit right on top here. So I just said Spider Dog, and it worked, right? Because they didn't protect themselves against the swarm. So that would be the one recommendation that I have in terms of trying to set up a defense back here. Anything else you want to add to that?
Not really. I think you covered pretty much everything.
Okay.
I would.
All right. So I'm going to let you take the other one that I've been seeing a lot, and then you can kind of walk people as to how they can possibly build a good defense there. The popular one that's probably going to be seen a lot, the Nightmare Composition, Destin. So here, now that we have these three set together here, what would be the perfect spot to then try to protect this a little bit? Where would you put somebody?
Had to on the top. That tile you said was pretty important. Just because not only does it obviously alt on swarms and stuff, but it also makes it so that if they somehow go behind her and she gets the rage back, she can alt them right as they're about to go through. I always like doing things.
Now, the other thing that I will tell you is that a lot of people then are going to say, okay, I can possibly swarm this by sending out the Templars, right? And then sending out a Fool to protect them. Now, the one fortunate thing that we had from the Season 7 map, especially being on top, is that you could protect the Templar very long time with the Fool, unless there was an Ingrid behind, right? Because you were providing the shields. But one of the things that we know is that Hatsu will target the unit with the lowest defense, and it just happens to be the Fool. So very easily, she just melts the Fool out, and then the Templars know. So you have to make sure your Templar holds if you're going to send out an offensive attack like that. And so that's what we're seeing a lot. So, but given the short path here, you have a very tight window to put everything together to set up that swarm. So you just make sure you have to BP check it. It's essentially what happens in this situation here. So that's going to be the other one that is going to the other that is going to play out. Now, I don't have a very keen opinion about piercer teams, but I have seen some strong piercer teams with Iobar Lady Alexandra, right? So if you're lucky enough to have Lady Alexandra, you can possibly put something together, because I'm seeing.
If you do have her, screw you. By the way.
Well, I'm just gonna say
I hate biting her. She's terrible. It's a fight.
I'm seeing deviations of this where they put the tank here, Lady A is back here, and then there's somebody else like Iobar back here, and then there's other type of units that are going to try to pass Havoc back here, right? So you can possibly have another tank over here, and then have your healer back here, or I is another deviation that I've seen just to cause headaches. But you kind of open yourself to Ma a little bit. But the problem with Lady A is that she's always targeting things all over the map. So your healers might go, your Fool might go. Just weird things might happen. So you have to really tighten up your timings when it comes to a Lady A. But that's another formation that I've been seeing. I'm assuming that it's also going to be a popular one. But with Piercer teams, we always have that, can we swarm it? And they're easy to swarm sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know if you think that piercers have a play here in this position here.
I think it's less that piercers have a place in like Overlord teams. I think it's more Lady A has a place in Overlord teams.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. So I don't know if those of you that are in Plat 2, Plat 3, if you can make a Silas work for you, go for it. But just protect yourself against the swarm as best as possible. Yeah, us in Overlord, we don't see a lot of piercer teams, and if we do, it has Lady A in it. But yeah, so she's causing havocs with that. The other thing that I would warn people about too, Destin, and I don't know if it's something that your eye caught right away, but let's pretend here that we have our favorite units, we have somebody back here, somebody in this platform here, and let's just say we think that we're giving enough CC to people, or enough rage region to people to make sure that the Gardener Guards don't get us. But one of the things here, if you don't have a lot of CC here in this type of positioning here, one of the things that is going to be very common that people are going to try to come up against you is to send some type of deviation of spiders with the bombs and the speedster right behind, or the beholders with the bombs. So you have to protect yourself against that. And that is something that we're seeing a lot in Forerunners, and especially with my guild. One of the first things that we ask ourselves is a bombable, and if not, it's a swarmable. And then after that, we then try to figure out a way to beat that defense. So just go ahead, make sure you protect yourself against that as well in terms of the bomb strategy, if you place anything down here. Any other positions back here? I think I pretty much went over earlier as to why I wouldn't rely too much on anything back here to start. It's really tough to defend if you decide to use.
It's so limited.
Yeah, it is very limited, so I wouldn't do that. And I think that Destin and I kind of described what goes on back here very well. So that's how I'm visualizing this getting defended this season, or some type of meta come arising from it. But it is going to be really tough to defend. So don't get too discouraged.
For sure.
But there are some compositions here that you can definitely come on. Now, let me just get your opinion really here, Destin, because they are buffing these units, and I don't know if they're going to have a place to play. But what do you think about the cultists? Do you think that we're going to see stronger cultists now, given that we had a buff to Morrigan on A3? There are buffs that have been enacted in Forerunners coming into Global for Beatrix and Summoner.
Is the Beatrix one good?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
it is.
She's the one. She's the one that I think might change things, but I'm not sure about the other ones. The thing is, cultists in general, for pretty much all content, are generally a little underpowered. I think if you're in like plat levels, you absolutely will find some good cultist teams. I think there might be some potential in Overlord if you have like the Awakenings and the good units, and you don't have any other options. But is it really going to compare to a meta Nightmare, Ingrid, Cyrus, like chaotic team? Like I don't see that happening. I am always down to be proven wrong.
Yep.
But I don't think the faction in general, just from what units are in it, what they do, all of that stuff really pairs well enough for GvG in general.
And a lot of the Nightmare units need to be, a lot of the cultist units need to be highly awakened as well, right? Morrigan A3, she applies the slow. Kriya is at A5 that she really can do some neat things in GvG. Beatrix, I'm gonna say that if she is doing a little bit more damage, she has a lot of rage, and gets those summons out really quick. Yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of a chaos there. You could possibly put a team possibly in the lower ranks that can do some neat things. But let's just wait and see what happens in Overlord. And then I'm guessing that a lot of the Plat 3, Plat 2 players might be able to get away with some stuff there. Now, Beatrix also now has an Esotericist designation. So we know Esotericists have been able to play, right? So there might be a combination there of Beatrix with Anora, because Beatrix summons will boost Anora. Labor now has an extended attack range during the ultimate. More damage coming out of those units.
And Beatrix has the vortex range, doesn't she?
Yeah. No, Beatrix has that weird. Well, the summoners.
No, she has crash range, doesn't she?
She has the crash mechanic, but during her ult, the summoners can go anywhere in the map. So it's like a Kriya effect, right? So so we'll see there. But yeah, so I'm gonna assume that the Esotericists are also going to be a popular one, right? So possibly a Cyrus here, facing the right direction.
Especially with the Anora banner, people are going to get like A3 Anora and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm expecting to see, some type of Anora deviation here. Who do we bring in? Like a Boreas? You want to bring an Ambret probably? People are going to.
I think Boreas would be good. Especially because we've learned that Anora could be a good enough, like almost single DPS, or at least her and Ymrit are fine. And you could do Boreas on like Glacier, and it actually works pretty well. So you can put that where that rocking area is with Kratos, for example, on the right side, and then he won't die. and he'll do the CC, he'll stop swarms a little well. And because it's at the front, the advantage of the front is always that necros have less time to spawn. So it's actually better against swarms. And yeah, I think there's potential for a lot of things. This worked very well for me.
Yeah. So this is the chaotic version that we're envisioning could possibly have some play, right? And this is an A3 Sargak, I'm assuming?
It's only a 0, I think.
A 0, okay. All right.
It's just the gear on this account is so cracked that it doesn't matter as much as you think. But definitely more Awakenings would be good. That's only an A1 Ardea. That's an A1 Ymrit, A1 Gone, obviously A5 Lily. The Awakenings are low, but this worked very well for me. Ymrit obviously is the GOAT. I think he's a contender for the best GvG unit in the game. It's, there's an argument to be made. He deals with the air really well. Sargak obviously does great single target. Ardea sweeps through anything ground without any effort. If you were to bomb this, Ymrit won't die because, Lily's there, and also Ymrit's built very, very tanky. Because he still does good damage even with that. The only thing is Gone usually can die to axes, but Ymrit will get his ult up in time because it's a longer map than usual. You can't really swarm it because of Ardea. Flying, obviously not. This is more like you have to kill Gone, or you have to somehow fly it. Otherwise, I don't really see a way to beat this, right? I had someone beat it. He had like a 119k Yovar, so he did beat it, but it was very close. And I think there's more potential here. More Awakenings you have, obviously, the better it gets. I thought this was a good team.
This is one of the formations that I was thinking that could be promising for a chaotic or just somebody with Ardea, right? Because of what she can do in this position, if you wanted to do. The other one that I played around with is Season 7 that did fairly well is anything with Ares, especially if you have him with a long extension at A1, because he kind of slows things down too. So you could, if you can put some type of watcher put together, of course, it's one of those things. Do you do it without? Do you do it? Do you take the chance to do it without Ingrid? That's the thing that we're gonna have to test, right? To see if he is capable of doing it without Ingrid on the team. But that's another. So just anybody that can extend out here. We're seeing a lot of Valkyras back here too. So if you want to try doing that. The other thing that I was going to bring up too is with this formation here, because of what you said about Gun. People could try moving this down here, right? But like you said, you're just giving them more time, or you're giving the advantage to the axes in that point, right? So I would rely more with the chaotics, especially if it's a guided chaotic, to put it on the back here instead of the front.
Yep. It's just, this is like the strongest formation from last season, and it was the strongest formation in Gauntlet, and now it's going to be one of the better formations. I just think that general Gone Ymrit Sargak Ardea comp is like disgustingly good. Pope can replace Sargak obviously, but I think we're going to see a lot of that.
The one final thing I just want to say this really quick is yes, if you want to, you can try doing this with a long extended range fighter. That's fine. There's some defenses you can probably get away with if you want to do this. The only thing that I would warn you is if you play like this, where you have 3 platform units, swarm, right? And if you then decide to bring somebody down to try to prevent the swarm, you're putting a lot of pressure on that unit back there. So, and you open yourself possibly to getting flown over. But this is another formation that I've seen with Ardea. It's just putting her back here or putting Valkyra back here just to give some type of DPS to this. But once the swarm happens or anything gets through, that Ardea is most likely dead. So just protect yourself against that. But there is viability here of something that you can do with Ardea being in this top on this back tile or this back ground tile here facing to the right towards the tank back here. We saved the best for last. Oh my goodness, is the keep.
This, oh my god, I don't know.
So I'm gonna bring in Ingrid for this example here, because we're seeing a lot of play with her. Let me bring a healer. And do I want? It would have to be another ground unit. Let me.
Yeah, these are just placeholders for everyone watching.
Because one of the things. So let me start back here, because this is gonna be one of the more popular ones. It's gonna be some type of deviation where Ingrid is getting placed back here. The healer is going to be here. And then there's something here that people like to place here. And then there's another unit back here. Just to either stop the swarm or give the advantage to Ingrid to sap things off the map. Is essentially what's happening right now.
Yeah, so like Yimmer would be good there.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of these formations right now. So let's pretend that my Pradius here is a ground unit. This formation here is very, very popular when it comes to the keep. Unfortunately, some things can be figured out, right? So you have to give yourself protection against air sometimes, because if you don't have that protection, you're gonna get sometimes it's easy to send lightning guards, split them up a little bit, switch your mode. Once your mode is switched, is cake after that, right? So but we're seeing a lot of these formations here. So yeah, like Imrit being here, or somebody like Arrogance, or think about any type of fighter unit that hits air or has this extended fighter range is getting placed here. We're seeing a lot of constances back here. That's another popular thing that is going on right now, and that people are trying to break, or that we're trying to break through. So this here is the Ingrid spot, I'm going to say, for this season. You see any other formations coming into play here? Let's think about Esotericist, Nightmare compositions. Anything back here that you think would be viable besides something with Ingrid?
Honestly, I have no idea. I haven't thought about the keeps at all. I don't even want to. They're so miserable every time.
But given how the ground tiles and the platforms are laid out, it's going to be really hard to defend this in this setup here this season.
About it.
I feel bad for Court. Yeah. I mean, the only other thing that I don't know, is some type of mage back here, and then we put a fighter back here. But I mean, it's just, I don't know if you want to put a marksman back here. So if it would be Esotericist, would be Emret, a Nora type of deal, and then somebody back here that can protect against air, or just like maybe a healer that can extend out this far. But then what do you do with this unit here? I mean, do you place him just idle? You just wait for something to happen? It's gonna, I mean, I don't know. This tile here is dead. If we put anything in here, I wouldn't. We pretty much sacrificing it. So I don't know. I think that the favorite position here back here, especially possibly some Nightmare compositions too, is going to be 3 ground units, 2 platforms. Essentially, is what's going to happen. Let's go down here. Do you see anything promising here besides doing this?
I can see something promising for 4 units.
For 4 units,
for 5.
That's the new meta. It's the 4-unit defense.
The thing is, if Bookkeepers didn't rip apart the tile left of Brokir, it would be good. But the thing is, like, healer on the bottom, tank right where you have it, and then you have like 2 platforms, and then a tank next to, or like a ground unit next to Brokir. Maybe could have worked, but it doesn't. So, I think, can you actually put Ingrid at the very top? Attacking in front of Brokir, like at the very top of the portal. Yeah. Like, Praetus maybe could go to the left of Brokir. You could have like a Ymrid or another tank at the top of Brokir, and then the healer on the bottom. And I think that might be an okay spot. But anything else, I don't think will work unless you use like a piercer team.
So you wanna put
something like this.
You want to put and then the healer back here. Hopefully, he doesn't
Yeah.
get picked apart by Garner guards before they get a chance to get there.
Yeah, this is the only idea I could think of for here. The only one I could think of. Maybe a piercer comp could be okay, but that's
I can hear Gort and Paramita possibly laughing right now. The idea of having to go up against this man, I don't know. I tell you, it probably could be cute, but I don't know. I'm not holding out a promise here for this. It just seems it seems too easy to get.
Probably, yeah. But
Yeah.
it would be fun.
But this is the fun about theory crafting, right? It's just somebody showing you eventually that you're wrong. No, it's not gonna work. All right. Then Destin, just to kind of then wrap things up here with the bottom here is, I mean, if we start here, we have the platforms here. If you want to get cute, you can try protecting with some type of platform unit here. You don't, you have the, let's see here. That would be the healer spot. I don't think you can reach here. Yeah, it would be too hard for that.
I think this is gonna be like only a nightmare team maybe with 3 ground units.
Possibly.
Right. Because you just don't have enough platform spots for a healer and 2 platforms.
No, it would have to be 3 ground units, right? So Ingrid, yep. Sorry, you're becoming
and it looks so easily bombable.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even try.
That would be just a nightmare to defend. And to be honest,
a nightmare to defend. Fun, not
and to be honest, everything that we so everything that we've seen here, so when it comes to this, again, is people trying to get cute. No, this is not Ingrid, trying to get cute with Ingrid here, and then trying to form around her. So sometimes we've seen the marksman go back here, right? So marksman with Ingrid, and then they try
maybe a piercer, team could work like this. Yeah. Maybe we could do like a. No, I was about to say a Bubba where Esmond is, and I realized no, that's a bad idea.
Bubba will reach out here.
True, but I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the very limited slots you have.
So Bubba, all he'll do is he'll drag the units towards the wall, but that's about it. You know, you're not giving him anything else on top of that. So, but yeah, so some people could try to possibly get an Ingrid here, but like you said, you have to protect yourselves against the bombs and against the swarm. You just have to pick the right units back here. And then where are you going to put your healer? That's the other thing too. Because if you put the tank here, you can't place your healer here. You're just asking for bookkeepers to come and pick them up. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one to try to figure out where you're gonna put your healer if you decide to deploy it this way. Unless you put your healer here and you go 3 ground tiles. That doesn't seem to be that seems to be too friendly to air units fly over, unless you have very strong fighters that can pick them up. So my best advice in everything that we've seen so far in Forerunners is people are just trying to come up with some type of formations back here, whether it is Esoterist, Nightmare, Watcher, or Arbor. It's just figuring something out here. Preferably, sometimes they're doing 3 ground units, but I've seen the deviation with only 2, and then we have the 3 platforms that they can use. But do remember that if you place any ground unit here, that's reachable by archers, more likely dead. Okay, so be careful with that. All right. Any other advice here for the keeper or the keep?
Don't be in the keep.
Well, and there is Destin folks being really helpful. No, it's going to be really tough. It's a lot of the conversations that I've had with the Forerunner people running the keeps has been trying to just put something together back here. Anything, I will say this, anything that we've seen a couple of wins being picked up has been because of some deviation of IOR with Lady A. but that's only because they get the extended range, and then you can toy around down here, possibly with an eye, your tank, just try to cause havoc, but the stronger opponents have been able to get around it eventually, right? So again, if you have Lady A, possibly the front, you could do it. But aside from that, if you find something, come over to our Discourse and let us know, because it's really hard to see something based on how this is all laid out right now. The last little clip that we're going to just show you here is going to be in honor of Destin, because Destin likes the spider dog mechanic. Destin, I want to thank you very much.
No, don't show the spider
I want to
dog.
thank you for joining me to talk about the season 8 maps and possible strategies to defend them. Is there anything else that you want to add before we close it out?
Don't spider dog, please.
Spider dog. Well, we're gonna leave you all with this clip, and as always, we'll try to come as the season progresses with just clips of battles that we encounter, that we play around with, and try to see maybe if there is a meta defense that eventually does come into play. But we do wish you all the best of luck in trying to put something together, and try to defend it as best as possible. Remember, people only have 5 attacks now, so the burden might not fall on you, but just try to make sure that you try to make it as stubborn as possible, so some attacks are wasted on you. So that'll do it for this video, folks. If you have any questions, comments, anything for Destin and myself, please feel free to post them below. And as always, if you're looking for a tryout in Overlord type GvG, feel free to come and apply to the Rising Horde cluster. We'll find a spot for you. Until the next one.
See you guys.